Hey, everybody. How's it going? Everybody
Hey,
doing
howdy,
good?
hey.
Well, I just want to
Good,
wish
good.
Jake a happy birthday because he just turned 48 years old. Happy birthday, Jake.
Oh, it's the beard, everybody. I'm not actually 48. I'm
No,
just a
he's
mere
31.
1-3 backwards. 31.
Yep.
Yeah, and
You'll always be 13 at heart.
I got a birthday present that most people don't get. I got the beginning of World War III, February 28th. You know, everything kicked off, man, and the stars aligned literally. And then boom, what a crazy birthday.
Yeah, I mean, I was so kind of weirded out about it that I did ask Jacob Israel if we were going to have a civil war or World War III, and he said no. So I'm happy to hear that. Because I was like kind of weirded out about it, and everybody's like, well, Jacob Israel is pretty good about, noticing patterns and stuff. So pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. Jake and I got to do something really cool. How are you doing, Opa?
I'm hanging in there.
Hanging in there. It's all we can ask for.
Yep.
I'm hanging in there too, guys. Well, we love y'all, and thanks for being a part of this and being a part of Jake's birthday. But we got even more than that in this upcoming live stream, so we're gonna hit everything. So I'm gonna start, and then Opa's gonna do his thing, and then in between Opa and Jake, we're gonna play our exclusive edited video of Rockwall, and it's a preview. It hasn't. We're gonna make a full documentary, hopefully. But yeah, so let's go ahead and start with me and shout out to the best father-in-law in the world, who's my father-in-law. And he sent me these. So let's go ahead and play the first clip.
Wait, I got an intro.
Just started 2 wars. Bury the Epstein.
Oh, wait, sorry. Here we go. Ready. I was going to intro him. Deep thoughts with the tie-dye rabbi. Okay, now
Just
we
started 2 wars to bury the Epstein files. Only Jews know exactly what's happening. Here's the timeline everyone's missing. February 19th, Prince Andrew arrested for Epstein connections. February 24th, Bill Gates apologizes for Epstein ties. February 26th, Hillary testifies. World Economic Forum president resigns. February 27th, Bill Clinton testifies. 7 days of the biggest scandal exposures in history. Then what happens? Same day, Pakistan attacks Afghanistan. Next day, U.S. kills Iran's supreme leader. 2 wars in 2 days. Here's what Jews see. You can't make scandals disappear, but you can bury them under wars. Epstein dominated every headline all week. Now everyone's watching explosions. Nobody's talking about Clinton or Gates anymore. But here's the suspicious part. Same day Iran war starts. OpenAI gets Pentagon contract worth billions. Who owns a portion of OpenAI? Bill Gates, through Microsoft. Gates apologizes Tuesday for Epstein ties. Gets the biggest defense contract in history by Friday. That's how power actually works. 7 people exposed in 7 days. 2 wars started in 2 days. While you watched wars, Gates gets defense contracts, Prince Andrew walks free. Nothing happens to the elite. Most people see separate news stories. Jews see one coordinated operation. They control the media. They control foreign policy. They control who gets exposed and who gets protected. How do you stop people this powerful? You don't. They're too strong. But you can see the pattern and position accordingly. Never believe scandals will take them down. Always watch how they use chaos to get stronger. If you want to learn more about the Jewish wealth and real estate secrets, comment money, and I'll send you my full playbook.
So I think he was AI, but I'm not for sure. I'm pretty sure. But he had, I mean, those are great points. You don't think about things like that. Hey, what's up, Anthony? I hope your daughter's feeling better. But so for my second clip that my awesome father-in-law sent me, and I'm not just saying that, like he's awesome. So I thought this clip was interesting. Let's just, without me describing it, let's go ahead and watch it.
Hold on. There we go.
All of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil, they're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And you have a lot of great Cuban Americans that are going to be very happy about this.
So we're getting all their oil, I guess. Pretty cool.
Black gold.
I loved his face tattoos. But yeah, that was cool. Now this next one, this last one of my little clips is the Banking Kabal is what it's called. So let's go ahead and play that.
Abraham Lincoln printed millions in government-issued notes, bypassing European banks to fund the Civil War. 5 days after the war ended, he went to Ford's Theater. President McKinley supported the gold standard, while others favored a central bank with a flexible currency. It wasn't long before an anarchist was let into his rally. 3 business titans allegedly opposed the creation of an American central bank. They all took an unsinkable ship owned by J.P. Morgan. He was supposed to go with them, but canceled last minute. That ship was called the Titanic, and the Federal Reserve was founded the next year. Senator Huey Long rallied against the Fed and tried to cap America's wealth.
On him.
He was shot inside Louisiana's
Shout out
capital.
Shay.
His gunman was killed instantly, with no autopsy, lost evidence, and conflicting ballistics.
Who does that remind you of?
Congressman Lewis McFadden accused the Federal Reserve of high treason for causing the Great Depression. He collapsed after a banquet. The official story? Heart attack. JFK signed an executive order giving the Treasury power to issue silver certificates and bypass Fed-issued notes. You know how this ends.
Straight from
Congressman
the storm,
Larry
Carrey.
McDonald, a fierce critic of all global banking elites, boarded Korean Airlines Flight 007. The plane accidentally veered into Soviet airspace. All 269 souls died, and Moscow held the black boxes for a decade before releasing edited data. Thomas Sankara, president of Burkina Faso, rejected IMF and World Bank loans. Shortly after, he was assassinated in a coup. His successor immediately took the loans. By the year 2001, very few countries didn't have Western-controlled central banks. Afghanistan and Iraq were 2 of them. All they needed was an excuse. The ruler of Libya, Gaddafi, proposed a gold-backed African dinar to replace the dollar for oil. NATO intervened in Libya's civil war, and Gaddafi was killed. Libya got a new central bank.
Very interesting. What are your thoughts, Jake? Opa?
I think there are a lot of things going on in the world and in the news and going on that, powerful people sweep things under the rug and, it's just business as usual for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So apparently he sends all these to you, Jake, but you never reply. So I have to play him.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're playing them. Nothing personal there. I have a lot of different, chats that I just never get around to. So I'm so
Same,
sorry,
dude.
but I will definitely be more diligent.
I'll tell you his
trying to
name off
watch what
screen.
You
I'll
send.
tell you his name off screen, and you'll know.
Okay, good. I don't want anybody to, give up on sending me important news stuff and things that catch their attention. I just need to find a way to consolidate it all so I can digest it, because I definitely miss a lot of things. So sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, no worries. I was just picking on you. Sofa, what do you got for us today?
Well, like I always do, I try to stay away from all of the doom and gloom and
Politics.
horrible news and this, that, and the other. So all the news items I have are more human interest news than they are about bad things that are going on that make people just sort of like want to, I don't know.
That's a good balance.
Yeah, well, we'll get to see.
Okay.
The first one actually is a little bit of bad news, but it's not the bad news like a war,
Yeah.
or etc. But this happened in, I believe, in Italy, I think, and it's about something that's called Lover's Arch. So let's take a listen.
This famous landmark, named for a tragic legend, has met with what many have described as a tragic fate due to heavy rains. The Lover's Arch was a natural rock formation formed over centuries on the coast of Salento, Italy. On
Nicknamed
Valentine's
Rocky.
Day, the iconic archway collapsed into the sea, a poetic end to a place where legend says a couple was swept away by a tidal surge while kissing in the waters beneath. Despite the legend's claim, the site is usually well protected from winds and strong currents and had become a popular place to propose, shoot wedding photos, or to share a kiss with the promise of eternal love. Although generally safe from stormy weather, the arch eventually succumbed to incessant rainfall during Storm Oriana on February 14th. It had also been damaged back in January by Storm Harry and endured years of erosion-induced weakening. No one was hurt in the collapse, but locals described the loss of this tourist attraction as a blow to the heart, saying the aftermath feels like a funeral.
I will say, at least it wasn't some kid that just pushed it over, because that's what happens here in the States, I feel.
No, and it collapsed on Valentine's Day.
Oh, man. What are the odds?
Yeah, what are the odds? Okay, second news story has to do with something I've already brought up in the past, but now here's a little update. This is about our infamous Los Angeles graffiti towers.
Ooh.
Breaking news from Los Angeles. Remember those infamous graffiti-covered towers ruining the LA skyline? They finally have a buyer. Real estate mogul Kali Chaudhry just dropped $470 million on the abandoned Oceanwide Plaza. The three towers sat empty since 2019 after developers ran out of cash. Then taggers turned 27 stories into a canvas. Base jumpers started parachuting off the top. Now Chaudhry says his first priority is stripping every last spray can mark off those walls. He's promising to spend another $1 billion turning it into the jewel of downtown LA before the 2028 Olympics roll into town.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's quite a bargain because I think the Chinese had already spent over $1 billion on it. So he only spent like a fourth of that money to get by the towers that are almost finished. They're not finished yet, but they
Yeah.
you know.
Well, that's how LA is. And by the way, everybody, if you send a super chat today, they go straight to Jake for his birthday, and you'll get a truth train. And they scare my cats every time, I think. But
Yeah, and I
hopefully
don't
Charlie's
have to
cool.
go, and I don't have to go toot toot.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't here for that. I would have loved to hear that.
Thank you, Jeremiah. That's very kind of you. Oh my goodness.
Well, we'll have to see. So, yeah, guys. What
All
else
right.
you got for us?
Yeah, so my next story has to do with taxis, and of course we've had the driverless taxis, but here's something that's happening in Florida, in Miami, actually. So this is kind of, in my mind, kind of scary in a way. So let's take a listen. Come on, there we go.
Transportation may be closer to reality. Flying taxis could launch soon
What?
in South Florida. Yes, you heard me right. Flying taxis.
Did I?
This map shows what the infrastructure to support those taxis would look like all around South Florida.
CBS News Miami's Nakaya Carrero shows us what the future of getting around will look like with this new technology.
It's something straight out of the Jetsons, an all-electric air taxi. I spoke to the man behind the project who says the goal is to bypass traffic and save time getting to all the South Florida hotspots like Hard Rock Stadium. What you are seeing flying around is known as the Midnight Aircraft.
Oh, man.
It's also an electric air taxi and what some believe
Looks like
is
what
a solution
Buddy Holly
to
was
South
killed in.
Florida's chaotic traffic.
Think Miami
more
Beach all the
propellers.
way up to West Palm Beach,
Yeah.
connecting Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Boca, West Palm Beach all together, and really try to help people get around much easier.
At Adam Goldstein, the founder and CEO of Archer Aviation, says
Goldstein?
it's specifically designed to fly around urban areas.
Used to replace trips on the ground in cars that take 60 to 90 minutes with flights that can take 5 to 10 minutes.
The sleek silver and black electric vertical landing aircraft would be piloted and can sit up to 4 passengers while traveling 150 miles per hour. Goldstein says it could travel as far as 100 miles away from the initial takeoff location.
Historically, helicopters have been reserved for the very few, but these aircrafts are designed to be much more simple from a mechanical perspective, and so the maintenance can be much lower, the uptime can be much higher, which allows us to offer at a price that's just much more reasonable, so it can be a mass-use product.
The Midnight Electric aircraft is in its final stages of the certification process with the FAA.
So ultimately, we need the federal government through the FAA to grant us what's called a type certificate, which allows us to start flying, not just in the country, but ultimately all over the world. And so we're deep into that process.
The plan is to have the air taxis launched and flying by next summer. In Coconut Grove, Nakaya Carrero, CBS News, Miami.
By next summer, that's frightening.
Right. And I noticed she mentioned the fact that it would have a pilot.
Oh, that's good. By the way, guys, that QR code will take you right to TrutherCon, to our website, and get your tickets now. So,
yeah.
No, this way.
Right. So, do you have any comments, Jake, so far?
Goldstein?
Yeah, I was gonna say the first accident that happens is going to really stunt their business. So let's just, they're gonna have to really get their flying taxi practice down, because that's the worst thing that could happen to a business upstart like that, is a flying death taxi from the sky. So just let's hope that it all goes well, and also keep in mind you're riding in experimental technology when you get into one of those things.
Yep.
Scary.
Okay, so the next story is about our poor NASA and Boeing and the Artemis project to send people to the moon, and the poor. This whole project costs billions of dollars, and it's late, and it's going to cost more billions of dollars, and they can't seem to fix hydrogen leaks. They can't seem to get the capsule right, etc. So here's the latest report as far as what's happening with Artemis 2, which is the second launch of this, and all the any future flights, because they are expecting Artemis 2 to just fly around the moon, and Artemis 3 is supposed to land. So let's take a listen.
News: NASA announcing a major overhaul of its Artemis program that would eventually return astronauts to the moon. The agency says it's a course correction.
Wait,
add missions
you lost the
and
technology,
increase the
though.
pace of launches before it eventually attempts to land on the moon. Those changes come after a series of safety concerns and
Oh my
delays
gosh,
to
they're
program's
kicking it
mission
down the
and
road
the moon
again.
rocket. Tracking it all, NBC News senior correspondent
it's
Tom Costello
so
from
stupid.
Washington. Tom, what is NASA saying about these massive changes that it's making?
Hey,
to
thanks,
this
by the way,
program?
JJ.
It was really a surprise announcement. To be clear, NASA was always going to the moon, right? But now they've added even more flights.
were they?
And they've changed Artemis 3. Let me first tell you about Artemis 2, right? That's the rocket we thought was going to launch this month. Now they moved it up to April. They got to work on a technical issue with a helium problem in the upper stage. And then they hopefully will launch that 4-person crew around the moon, looping around the moon, probably by the end of April or so. But what they did today was they announced Artemis 3, which they said was going to land on the moon. It's not anymore. That's Artemis 3 will, in fact, be an orbital mission around the Earth because they want to test out the systems. And then they've added 2 more lunar landing missions, Artemis 4 and 5. And NASA says they will both
We're
go
never
in
going back.
2028. The NASA chief today
If
said
we never win.
they're really trying to pick
Yep.
up the pace, and it's going to start to feel like the old days of Apollo. Take a listen.
NASA announcing a major overhaul of its Artemis program that would eventually return astronauts to the moon. The agency says it's a course correction. To be clear, NASA was always going to the moon, right? But now they've added even more flights. And they
If we're committed to going back to the moon, we have the resources to do it. We have a presidential mandate to get the job done. What is an achievable strategy, regardless of the competition? And I can tell you, launching every 3+ years is not the right approach.
Yeah, Jared Isaacman saying, listen, we got to get going back to the way
What
we
is
did
the
it
right
back
approach?
in the 60s and 70s, launching every 3 to 4
Actually
months.
making
not
good
every
on their
3
word.
years,
That's the approach.
And that the president and
They can't get there.
Congress
We
is
all know
mostly
that.
behind them, going back to the moon as soon as 2028 with 2 missions now, not just 1, as we compete with the Chinese. And Clay?
Definitely something to watch. Incredible. Tom Costello, thank you so much.
I like her hair. Let's do the whole time.
So Musk may end up with SpaceX getting there first. Who knows?
He might think it first.
Okay.
Who's going to think it first?
Yeah, I mean, with AI technology, even if they do allegedly go to the moon, no flat earther will ever buy it because they're like, okay, well, I can't distinguish reality from fake anymore. And so there's a reason it's being kicked down the road. They've been telling us since like the early 2000s, we're going to the moon. Every presidential administration claims they're going to take us back to the moon. And then they kick it down the road. And, for all we know, with this increase of global conflict and stuff, they're going to once again be like, oh, well, space is now too dangerous. The Russians shut down our attempt to go to the moon last month. So, it's going to happen in 2037 now. It's just, there's a reason freaking flat earthers exist. It's because of this silliness that, they've been telling us since, 2020, oh, we're going to the moon next year.
But is it just me? Or does his audio sound kind of spotty?
It's got a little buzz to it, but.
Yeah, okay. I thought I was going crazy for a second. I was like,
no.
Let me just make sure I'm all connected here.
What else?
All right. So let me go on here. We're still talking about transportation in a way. Even going to the moon is kind of like transportation. And there's something else going on in Florida besides flying taxis. And I know that way back when they had, Universal Studios has built on their property. There are Universal Studios and then Islands of Adventure, and they've
now
got a water park. Epic. No, well, and now Epic, but Epic is not built in the same area as the Universal Studios and Islands of Adventures. It's actually about 4 miles away on some property they bought, still in Orlando, but it's pretty far away. So I often questioned, this is kind of crazy. If people want to go to these parks, how are they going to get between the parks? Are they going to take a bus? And I don't know. So here is what's going to happen.
Tunnels coming to Orlando. I'm News 6's Alex Cook here outside Universal Orlando Resort, which Google Maps says is about 4 miles from Epic Universe, their brand new theme park across town. Getting there involves sitting in traffic, taking a shuttle or a bus, but that all might soon change thanks to the decision on Wednesday to use Elon Musk's The Boring Company. That's the company that digs underground tunnels to possibly make those tunnels right here in Orlando.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to adopt the resolution 2026-04 with the high.
I love that it's called boring.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
With that vote, the Boring Company was officially chosen to build and maintain transportation and infrastructure between Universal and Epic Universe. We haven't seen their plans yet, but the Boring Company is famous for building underground tunnels, such as the Las Vegas Loop.
Looking back at the request, there was focused on, obviously, for the Epic, primarily Epic to City Walk, that connection between the new park.
Brian Gutierrez works for Glideways, one of the companies the board passed on when they picked the Boring Company for the project. He says speed of construction is a top priority.
Tunnels typically are very slow to build. The Boring Company talks about building very quickly. I defer that question to them on their speed that they plan.
Now, I did ask the Boring Company what their specific plans are for Orlando. I haven't heard back yet, but in the meantime, I've been out here speaking to tourists about their reactions about whether this sounds like a good idea to get around all that Orlando traffic.
I think it'd be a great idea. It'll cut down on traffic everywhere around here.
You're gonna save time also. You're gonna have also the best opportunity to do the boat. So I think it's a good idea.
In Orlando, Alex Cook, News 6.
This is my first time here at Orlando. I don't know. Funny.
Wow, that's cool. I wonder how many underground tunnel systems
Jake, you're
actually
really
exist currently.
Jake, you're breaking up.
I would just unplug and replug. Well, what else you got for us? Underground. We got, it's like an underground monorail kind of is what it reminds me of. Like Disney has their monorails. People are getting
Well, that's
attached to
probably
them.
what it's going to be. It's going to be some kind of a monorail that's going to take a bunch of people and go through this tunnel, and maybe they'll actually drill 2 tunnels, and they'll have one going in one direction and one going another. I don't know. I don't know what their plans are, but it makes a lot of sense because that was the big problem. How in the heck are you going to get people from one park to the other?
Yeah.
But anyway, so what you think you okay, Jake?
How's this?
Oh,
That's
perfect.
Much better.
Much better.
Okay, good.
So what did you think about the tunnel?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder how many tunnel systems already pre-exist in the United States right now that we just don't know about. Like how many billionaires and I know there's some that Elon Musk's already done over on the West Coast area, but I'm just curious, because the tunnels and tunnel systems seems to be a fad coming up as of late, and there's also a scripture talking about the kings of the earth and all the peoples will hide themselves and call for the mountains to fall down on us. And so for that to be true, it means there's got to be a bunch of underground networks and tunnels and dumbs and stuff that are kind of being worked on as of late.
Let's not forget who the best tunnel makers were. If you know. My heart goes out to you. Oh my gosh, I think I just connected something. My heart goes out to you. Tunnels. It all makes sense to me. If anybody else gets what I'm getting at, let me know.
Oh boy.
Got it.
All right, let me go on to the next story here.
I don't worship Hitler, of course.
Yeah. Well, more transportation, and of course, I can't do a live news segment without talking about Waymo. So here's another story about Waymo.
Driverless taxis land in
Way
Dallas
more,
as
Waymo.
Waymo and its fully autonomous driving technology join a competitive robotaxi marketplace. Mayor Eric Johnson says it gives residents and visitors a new innovative transportation option. David Goins took it for a test ride.
God.
No matter where the all-electric, all-white Jaguar I-Pace cars are spotted across Dallas, Chris Benelli with Waymo, here's the same question.
How do you build that rider confidence?
Opening the service today is probably the best thing we can do for that, because seeing is believing, experiencing the just consistent driving behavior, stopping at stop signs completely.
Tuesday marks a first for Waymo.
I'm gonna select Carpenter Park, says 2 minutes to pick up.
Launching the city's first fully autonomous ride-hailing service with no human in the driver's seat.
Should we check it out?
We should absolutely check it out.
When the Waymo pulls up, it unlocks and you hop in.
Heading to Carpenter Park.
Pull out and start is pretty
How about
smooth.
Wayno?
On a short test ride, the Waymo handled predictably, but
No way,
doesn't
Wayno.
avoid many of the bumpy spots we'll find on Dallas streets. And while there is no human driver, riders are not alone with ability to contact someone via the app or in-car screens.
Be there as a lifeline, right? Add a human touch that gives people a little more confidence in the vehicle, and certainly feel safe during their ride.
Waymo isn't alone either in the competitive robo-taxi space, with Uber's AV Ride launching in December. That service still has a human behind the wheel. As for safety, the
thank
Journal
God for that.
Traffic Injury Prevention last year found significantly fewer accidents compared to human drivers, suggesting a potential for improved road safety with more autonomous vehicles. For now, Waymo's using kind of a 50 square mile radius around downtown, Love Field to the north, through the Park Cities and downtown. But the goal long term is to be able to map freeways, which would allow the fully autonomous service to expand to other parts of North Texas.
Certainly have aspirations for all of our markets to allow rides on the freeway, really make that more trips all over longer distances more efficient.
So for now, you'll either see a Waymo driving around or ride in one on city streets only. In Dallas, David Goins, NBC5.
In Dallas, I hope this thing parks where it's supposed to.
So they're live. And they've
Very
added
cool.
they've added 3 more cities, Orlando.
I'm so glad that they added Dallas.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the other 2. You know, they've already got San Francisco and Austin, and I don't know. So right now they're up to 8 different
Man,
cities.
why can't they start in Austin? You know, let all the freaks test
Well,
drive
they
the
did.
curves.
They did start in Austin, so that's where all the
Oh.
problems were with the school buses and stuff. So
Sorry, my heart goes out to you, Austin, after what recently happened.
Okay, so my next little story has to do with New York City and where the World Trade Center stuff is. So let's take a listen to this.
11, a major announcement from the World Trade Center complex. This morning we learned groundbreaking for 2 World Trade Center will happen this spring. These are new renderings showing this building will be at 200 Greenwich Street. It's a 55-story tower, and it will become the final piece of the World Trade complex. It will be the new American Express headquarters, and American Express will be the only occupant of the new building. It's expected to be fully completed in the year 2031.
Wow.
So
how many airplanes will have to hit that?
Well, they're going to have to fly pretty low.
Yeah. Yep. So we got another super chat.
So, yeah. So what type of face tattoo is this going to here?
Excuse me?
So yeah, so Jeremiah has the Tav, right? So I guess I can get an olive on this cheek.
Yeah, you get a teardrop, and we can make it stand for whatever we want it to.
Yeah,
It's the,
yeah. I'll get a teardrop in the shape of the ox head, and you get the Tav. It will be the olive Tav.
Yeah, something like that.
That'd be cool. Oh man, a cookie monster. Oh no, I already have a hat. That's all good.
No, everybody wants a cookie hat. Do you have it?
Oh, it's in the other room. Yeah, it's definitely one of a kind.
Yep, for sure. Good old 6 eyes.
Yep. Okay.
Good old 6 eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, so here's a little story about, we have a lot of stories about people moving from California to Texas or to Florida or to Nevada or places like that, to get out of California. Well, here's another story about people moving.
What if I told you thousands of Americans are planning their escape from the U.S. right now, moving abroad for good? Look, I've been covering this story for 3 years now, and the numbers are just exploding. We're talking about your neighbors, people from Maryland, Virginia, all over the country, regular Americans who are done. And here's what's driving them out: healthcare costs, housing prices, the cost of living in general, and of course, the political climate, all the divisiveness. One company I talked to that helps people move abroad told me 120 people started visa applications for Portugal in just 1 month this year. Countries are making it easier than ever. Portugal, Ireland, Greece, which, by the way, just got ranked the #1 retirement spot by one website. In Panama, you can live comfortably for about $1,800 a month. The woman helping people leave told me this isn't a trickle anymore. She predicts it's about to become a flood of Americans leaving. And the State Department can't even tell us really how many Americans have already left because they don't track it. So, would you leave?
Yeah, I think we should all go to Iran.
Well, after they bomb it, maybe we can.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be a nice new plot of land for good old Netanyahu.
Yeah, just wait until the Greater Israel is formed and Trump turns it into Trabalon. Instead of Babylon, it's Trump Babylon.
Well, it would be Trump's Babylon, probably.
I just put them together. Trabalon, so Trump's Babel.
Trump doesn't Babylon. Do that. No,
Trumpalon.
It has to say Trump first and then the word.
Yeah, it's got to be all Trump. Trump something or other. All right. Well, this next story is about AI again, and another lawsuit is being done because of AI. So let's take a listen real quick.
Green, the veteran broadcaster, is taking Google to court over a striking development in artificial intelligence. His lawsuit claims that Google's experimental notebook LM AI replicates a male voice that so closely resembles his own that listeners are mistaking it for him. This case challenges how technology intersects with personal identity, rights, and the ethics of AI-generated voices. Notebook LM was designed to turn complex text into conversational audio, creating what Google calls audio overviews. These AI voices simulate natural speech, with cadence and intonation meant to sound human. Green alleges that one of these voices mirrors his own so precisely that it blurs the line between machine and individual, raising concerns about unauthorized replication of his professional voice. Voices themselves are not traditionally protected under copyright law, but Green's team argues this falls under rights of publicity, citing precedent where mimicked voices were found to violate personal identity rights. Google maintains the voice came from a professional actor and that the AI generates speech from licensed data, not from Green's recordings. However, forensic analysis suggests notable similarities, fueling the debate about AI training data, neural synthesis, and responsibility for outputs. This lawsuit is more than a dispute over compensation. It signals a critical moment in AI ethics and legal frameworks, testing how the law will adapt to technologies that replicate what was once uniquely human. As AI voices become integral to media, accessibility, and communication tools, Green's case could set a precedent for how creators, companies, and the public navigate identity, consent, and ownership in the era of generative AI.
There you go.
C is for cookie.
Wow.
All
AI
right, so
advancing all the more.
yeah. Now it's not just video. Now it's the actual voices that are being challenged. So
You know, they probably have all of our voices. I heard that if you're even on, any kind of channel, that they already have your voice and your likeness.
Yeah, we need to follow Matthew McConaughey's suggestion, which is to copyright our own likeness, our likeness, our persona. I don't know how to do that, but Jeremiah, I know you're smart enough to figure it out. So we gotta tap into that because that they're gonna try to frame us eventually. We're pointing out too many of their their psyops. So we got to get on that copywriting our face thing so that they don't frame us for something crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
all right. So the next story, actually, I've got 3-4 parts to it. I've actually added a part for today. It's a story that I don't know. It was last year. I'm trying to remember whenever it started, sometime in the spring, summer, where we were talking about this weird comet called 3I Atlas. And it was in the news. It was talked about. It was on the radio and TV and everything
Jake
else.
probably knew about it, right?
Huh? Yeah, Jake talked about it in several of our episodes. And it was just a weird comet that didn't come from our solar system. It came from some out of our solar system and came into our solar system. And it's been acting strangely, and people have been talking about the fact that, oh man, this is a spaceship, and it's just, like they're making themselves look like a comet, or people say, no, it's a comet, come on, and they've been tracking this thing for ever since it got reported that they found it. Well, I was curious as to why all of a sudden, over the last, I don't know, several months or so, we haven't heard anything about it, right?
Yeah.
Wrong.
Oh.
There have been a lot of things going on about it. And as a matter of fact, if you go over to YouTube and look, you'll find that there are 2 or 3 live broadcasts that are tracking the darn thing and keeping you up to date on what's happening with the silly comet. And not only that, or whatever it is, I say comet, but whatever it is. And now, for the last 3 days, it's been doing some really strange things as it's approaching Jupiter. So this is the first part of a 4-part thing. So let's take a listen to this.
I told you that on December 27, 2025, at 22:14 UTC, when the James Webb Space Telescope's MIRI instrument captured its second post-perihelion spectrum of 3I Atlas at a wavelength resolution of 0.03 micrometers,
He's a professor.
the data revealed a chemical signature that
He almost looks
matches,
fake.
molecule for molecule, the atmospheric composition of early
He's
Earth
just very smiley.
3.5 billion years ago, when life first emerged from primordial oceans. Not approximately, not similar, identical. Methane at 27% of the water production rate. Hydrogen cyanide at production rates exceeding any solar system Comet by factors
He's talking
of 10.
like an AI.
Carbon
I know,
dioxide
he-
enriched in
He's not.
carbon-13
He's not.
isotopes
He's
by
been on
1.7
this.
times the solar ratio.
Are you sure?
Carbonyl sulfide, produced on Earth exclusively by sulfur
His
metabolizing
mouth
bacteria
just did
and
something
deep-sea
weird.
hydrothermal vents. And these molecules are not sitting dormant on the surface. They are erupting, streaming into space at
Maybe
rates
they're
equivalent
using
to
AI
2
to-
Olympic swimming pools, evaporating every hour. Material that has been frozen, shielded, preserved inside a cosmic time capsule for potentially billions of years, is now contaminating our solar system. And in 26 days, on March 16, 2026, this object will arrive at Jupiter's heel radius, the gravitationally stable region where fragments could separate and remain in orbit indefinitely. My name is Avi Loeb. I am the Frank B. Baird Jr. Professor of Science at Harvard University. And
I hope he's real.
Yeah, he's real. He's real. He's been basically talking about not only Atlas or 3I Atlas, but a bunch of other stuff. He's well respected as far as being talking about astrophysics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Now-
what was he saying exactly? He was saying that 3I Atlas is nearing Jupiter.
Yes, it's nearing Jupiter, but the big story here is that they have detected that there is all of the elements, the organic elements, etc., that created life on Earth. And he said it's not just a little bit. It's exactly the same elements, exactly the same percentages, etc., that supposedly was deposited on Earth to create life into, in the seas and stuff like that. So that was back in February 27th when that was revealed. And it wasn't revealed, it was revealed by NASA and I think 3 or 4 others, some kind of a place in Germany, someone, I can't remember all the different places, but actually all of these little clips I'm playing, they're from a huge, long 20, 30, 40 minute discussion about this and got into very much detail that's way over, unless you're, it's way over my head and it's probably going to be way over a lot of our people's head here. And I didn't want to get into all of those numbers and, all that other stuff that went with it. Just the fact that they found organic materials and this was not from ground stations, but this was from a satellite that's actually looking at Jupiter's moons, and they pointed it at the comet, and that's the closest that they've ever had observing and collecting data from on this particular comet from a satellite that's orbiting Jupiter to look at the Jupiter moons. So it's interesting. It's interesting. Now
the science they're using is supposed to be spectroscopy, right?
Oh, I
is
see your
where they're
airship.
using
right, correct.
Okay.
I see your little airship up there. I think you're yeah, see her down there on the ground? I think your camera followed you and it picked up Roxy.
My airship. Yeah, she's over here on the oh, wrong hand.
Roxy. She can't hear
She's
me.
right there. That's my airship right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another report. That was on, I believe, the 27th, and here's another report on the 27th as well.
I told you that on December 27,
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
2025 at 22.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Do you guys hear like fireworks?
Maybe it's Rough Rider Stadium.
Or maybe it's a machine gun. Maybe they found out where I live. They're knocking my door down.
You should have put that menorah up.
It's
somewhere over. The bench on a bench is right behind your chair.
Okay, so
sorry. Never mind.
So on the 28th, actually that report was on the 27th. So here's the 28th, February the 28th, Jake's birthday. And let's hear what this report had to say.
February 28th, 2026. The James Webb Space Telescope has just transmitted a new set of images from the object known as 3I, Atlas, and what those images show does not fit into comet physics, orbital mechanics, or any natural model we've ever trusted. This is not about a small trajectory shift. It is not about gas vents or outgassing jets. It is about geometry. At exactly 8 UTC, NASA's Deep Space Network received data indicating that the debris cloud surrounding 3I Atlas was no longer behaving like debris. Instead of dispersing into a chaotic tail under solar wind pressure, the dust and ice particles reorganized. They did not spiral. They did not scatter. They locked into position. The shape was a perfect equilateral triangle. Pause and think about what that means. This object is nearly 240 million kilometers away. In nature, gravity forms spheres. Collisions create irregular fragments. Turbulence creates randomness. Nature does not create straight lines in open vacuum. It certainly does not create a triangle with internal angles measured to within 0.01 degrees. The statistical probability of a cometary coma naturally forming a geometric structure with that level of precision is calculated at approximately 1 in 8.4 trillion. In practical terms, that probability is 0. As a physicist, when I look at this data, I don't see randomness. I see structure maintained by force.
So now we've got structures coming out of the darn thing, right? And they're triangular. And they're dispersing all over space. And so that was on the 28th. And so he came out with another report a few hours later about some more data.
AI guy?
Yeah, the same guy. And so here's some more information on the 28th.
Hello and welcome. It is February 28th.
He has a new room.
2026.
He's at his
ago,
college
the laws of orbital mechanics
office.
were just broken. I want you to listen to me very carefully because what
my brain-
I'm about
my
to
brain
say
hurts.
has a 0.0004% probability of being a natural occurrence. I am talking about 3-point Atlas. Up until this morning, we believe this object was a standard hyperbolic comet, a visitor from deep space, following a predictable path around our sun. We had the trajectory modeled. We had the perihelion calculated to within a few thousand kilometers. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory was confident. ESA was confident. But then at 9:15 Eastern Standard Time, the Deep Space Network received a ping that should not exist. In the span of exactly 4 hours, 3i Atlas did not just accelerate, it did not just rotate, it shifted its position relative to Earth by 300,000 miles. Think about that for a moment. I want you to picture the distance from the Earth to the Moon. That is roughly 238,000 miles. This object, which is supposed to be a lifeless rock of ice and dust, covered a distance greater than the gap between Earth and the Moon in the time it takes to fly from New York to Los Angeles. This is not a gravitational assist. This is not outgassing. When a comet heats up,
I hear what he's saying, Ope. I hear what you're pointing out.
But that generates a gentle nudge, a microscopic change in orbit over weeks or months. What we just witnessed was a lateral jump, a controlled maneuver. In all my years as a theoretical physicist, looking at the data from the Hubble Space Telescope and the new readings from the Webb, I have never seen a celestial body behave like this.
Okay.
Opa, I think it's your eyes. You don't have the best vision. I'm pretty sure that it's AI. I hate to.
He's not AI, Jeremiah. He's not AI either. Both of those guys are, PhD professors. Okay.
I believe that they are real people, but I think they're using maybe what they're saying is true, but I don't know. AI PhD.
I'm curious if Michikako is like, oh, I got to get on this AI bandwagon, and so he's using AI versions of him to basically just put out mass amount of clips, and maybe they are their real research that they're presenting, but they're just like, oh, I'm just going to use an AI version of me to, produce these well-clipped little segments of space porn.
I mean, it would save him a lot of time. Wow. Don't get me wrong.
Okay, finally, today, he puts out yet another video and again, like I said, you can go out to YouTube, and they've got live broadcasts that are tracking the thing and giving you minute by minute updates on what the heck's happening with the darn thing. But anyway, so here's the one for March the 1st. So let's
and welcome. It is March 1st, 2026. And 48 hours ago, at exactly 9:14 UTC, the Deep Space Network in Canberra, Australia, picked up a data signature that defies every known law of celestial mechanics. I am not talking about a comet breaking up under solar pressure. I am not talking about tidal disintegration. I'm talking about a synchronized powered divergence event involving 3i Atlas. Picture this. For months, we have tracked this object as a singular entity, but on February 27th, as it crossed the frost line, roughly 450 million kilometers from Earth, something impossible happened. It didn't just split, it executed a maneuver. NASA's tracking data confirms that the original mass 3i Atlas has separated into two distinct bodies of near identical mass. Let's call them Atlas Alpha and Atlas Beta. In a natural breakup, debris scatters chaotically. Momentum is conserved, but the fragments drift along the original path. That is not what happened here. Atlas Alpha banks sharp left, altering its inclination by 14 degrees relative to the ecliptic plane. Atlas Beta banked right, adjusting its trajectory by negative 14 degrees. They are not drifting, they are accelerating. And here's the part that keeps astrophysicists awake at night. Both objects, despite heading in opposite directions, have calculated new arrival vectors that intersect with Earth's orbit at two different points. Hello and welcome.
Oh, sorry. So, strange things are happening.
Yep. You can say that again.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the kind of clips that I feel like astrophysicists fall asleep to. They put it on at night and they listen to Michikaku's voice whisper sweet nothings into their ear. And
did you say meningococcal?
No, that's his name.
I think that's his name, right? Meningococcal?
Yeah. Yeah,
I got the
that's his name.
meningococcal twice, the little vaccine twice when I was a kid, and I got autism from it. I think.
AI dude for AI Space Rock.
Well, they can't be everywhere at once. If it was AI, he can't be everywhere at once. Let's just be real, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's
he's been on TV documentaries and stuff like that. So I mean,
yeah,
even before AI started, so he's been on them. So from a long time ago. But that's all the news I have for the human interest stuff without doom and gloom.
Awesome.
Although this could turn into doom and gloom.
well, I appreciate you sharing that, Opa. Speaking of rocks, me and Jake went to a place called Rockwall, Texas. It's not too far away from where I am right now, and they try to sell it off as you know what? I think the video speaks for itself. So, Opa, can we just go ahead and play? First, me and Jake come out of where we really came from.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
So I did all the editing. This is not Rockwall, but I thought this was cool. So when I got to Earth, this is where I came from. They put out a new clone of me every so often. Oh, and there's a Jacob Grant. We are really AI. Anyways, Rockwall. So that was
pretty interesting.
Let's check out that Rockwall segment.
Whoa. Wait, what does the rock do? He goes like this.
He said something smells weird in here, something like that. Yeah, that's what the rock says. So, according to them, this is natural formation of rock.
Apparently, this was formulated 65 million years ago, and if you're even off by 1 million years, you're still wrong by being a dumbass.
100% touched by giants.
Man, it looks like segmented rocks for sure.
I mean, they were put here by giants.
I think the 65 million year old thing is BS, and I think it definitely looks like some type of civilization.
And that's a piece of it. So I just went ahead and sat right on it, because when you get the chance to sit on something that giants built, or that's all natural, right?
I am on the rock wall of the Texas. Giants.
Big ones. I mean, those rocks are huge. I mean, I'm pretty skinny, but the rocks are big.
So
I don't know if I get the good
we've had a great time out here learning about the history of Rockwall, some of the old styles of the people living here, and hearing about the actual Rockwall itself and the possibility that this could have been man-made or giant-made. And it's what I believe is a very bogus explanation of some 65 million years BS that doesn't make any sense.
We all know the Smithsonian lies to us all the time.
Yeah.
I think they stole it, and the skull of what they found, the tools, which I found was interesting, but giant tools, put it right there.
Yep. There's definitely more questions, and I'm very interested to come back out here when that family that's donating their land unearths their section of the wall to go and see what it looks like when it's freshly dug up.
Hey, maybe we can be the, whatever the guy's name is, Scott Walters, the guy who said that it was all fake. Maybe we can actually do our own research, you know, if you guys want to help out. I mean...
Yeah, I'm already highly skeptical of his conclusions because he threw out a 65 million year old, estimation of the age of the wall.
And
Except for one
yeah,
person.
it
I'll
just
tell
to
you
me
who it was after.
ridiculous. But I do think it's interesting that they try their attempt to explain it away, likely because they didn't want people out here digging up giant skulls. And it sounds like there's a lot of prehistoric, animals and bones and stuff under the earth here somewhere, and they don't want people searching for it. So they're, yeah, it's just one of those things. But hope you guys enjoyed this segment at Rockwall, Texas. I had fun, Jeremiah. It's been a blast.
Yeah.
And action. Oh, shit.
So I had to, since Jake put a little Easter egg in the episode last week, I figured I'd get him back. But what I did do was I took some of the rock samples and I took a big piece of the stuff that's supposed to, the mortar. And I would like to have this tested and see what it is, because of that one History Channel, they all think it's naturally formed. That doesn't look naturally formed to me. I have a problem with that, right?
Yep.
Oh, but doesn't it look like giants built that?
Well, it looks like it was built. I can't,
Yeah.
Those
Is that
aren't-
natural? Let me know what you guys think in the comments too. I mean, that is legit built. Those are bricks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to convince us. It's like Helen Keller. Like, they're trying to convince us. See, I have to bring her up in every episode, but I mean, they try to convince us of this story that's bogus, and it's like, just because you're the History Channel, I mean, you do Ancient Aliens. I mean, you kind of lost your credibility when you do Ancient Aliens, I feel. I mean, you were good for the first couple episodes, or for the first couple seasons, but after that, you're kind of. But I got a piece. If anybody knows where and how I can get these tested or whatever, I know it's not like a drug test, but I know it's a lot, more. Yes, Nephilim. That's what I think. Definitely giants. Definitely something weird there. But nobody believed us, Jake. Nobody believed everybody was convinced that it was all, what the History Channel said. All natural forming. But who was the lady that said that she believed our story, or the what we call the official narrative?
Yeah, the lady who worked in the judge's office.
The judge of the town. What is going on? We're so mind blown by that.
Or her secretary. So one of the two.
No, the judge. It was the judge. I know it was. She's a big, hefty lady.
How's my audio, Jeremiah?
You sound better.
Okay, cool. They said it was crackling on me, but sorry, say again.
Well, what were your thoughts about Rockwall? I mean, I know it was the first time you'd ever heard of it when I first said, "Hey, we're gonna go to Rockwall," and it sounds silly, but then when you get there, it's like I feel like that museum was really weird, so I didn't put it in there where I come out of, because they were like trying to show us like this is somebody's old house, and it's like, okay, but then there's a Rockwall. I don't know. It was weird. Did you get a weird vibe there?
Yeah, my personal theory is that they are very controlled on where people dig and who can dig, because there's a lot of apparently dinosaur skulls. They date back millions of years or whatever. Of course, I disagree with that dating. But with the history of there being a Nephilim skull actually found in a field nearby these rock walls, that to me is it's a really a big question mark. And because I knew you're going to show this segment, I had this image ready here, Jeremiah. This is Native Americans all across the United States, and what they call, this is their name in their native tongue for giants. So out here in the West, you see the Poitis call the giants the Siteka. The Navajo called them the Starnaki. The Comanches had 10-foot white giants. The Chickasaw called them the Lofa. The Choctaw called them the Nahuto. The Cherokee called them the Moon People.
I call them the Macarena.
The Ranauewetaka. The Ranauewetaka. The Alegui. The Matawa. they're called the stone giants up in the northeast. The Cree call them the Witoko, and the Anishinaabe call them the Wendigos. Okay, and so I think what's fascinating to me is the lady who's at the actual museum really wrote off very quickly what the Nephilim skull story was. She said it was the first clickbait to a subscription model. But we do know there's a consistent pattern of the Smithsonian coming in, taking these skulls and these bones of things that would contradict the ongoing pushed narrative of the evolutionary model and the age of the earth and all these different things. And
can you send me a photo of that? Will you send that to me?
Yes, I will.
Okay, I'm compiling evidence to maybe we could go back and like be like, look at this.
Nice.
Really question them.
So yeah, that's just my thoughts. I think on that topic for the moment.
Well, that was my Roswell. I did want to give a quick shout out to our Patreons, if that's okay. There's a little video here, and I think if I click it, it's 12 seconds. Shout out to all of our Patreons. I just want to say thank you. Patreon isn't just a community; it's a massive family, and we'd be thrilled to have you join us. So come join us at patreon.com/Skiba News Nation. Did that not freeze for you guys? That was all frozen on my end.
Nope, look fine.
So weird. It's like they're house. Huh. But yeah, shout out to all the Patreons that help the show keep going, and all you guys for being here in the chat. We really appreciate it. But yeah, that's my Rockwall video. And I think I do have one more Charlie thing. Can we play that real quick?
Sure.
All right, let's go to
it's now in our Babylon Rising bookstore, and you can get it for the same price that you would get it on Amazon, but it'll be signed and it'll be cool. Curiosity was the real adventure. Join Charlie, Bubba, and their new friend Juliet in Charlie's Big Adventures, The Hunt for Bigfoot, a cozy, rhyming children's story that inspires kids to think for themselves, ask questions, and work together. No fear, no heavy agendas, just imagination, strong morals, and love for discovery. Perfect for ages 4 to 8, and especially loved by homeschool families, parents, grandparents, and anyone who enjoys reading with the kids that they love. Charlie's Big Adventures, The Hunt for Bigfoot, available now on Amazon. Also available at BabylonRisingBooks.com, where you can get the same book but signed for the same price. The link will be down in the description below.
Check out our new and improved BabylonRisingBooks.com, where you can get Rob Skiba's books,
I don't know if it's
bundles,
in this description,
DVDs,
but I can put it
DVD
in the
ROMs,
chat.
videos, and so much more. You can even get Sheila and Jeremiah's books, so check it out now.
Yeah, so we want to raise little truth seekers, little kids, I mean, I know your children love the book so much so that I'm going to have to give you a second copy, you said. So that's pretty epic that they love the book so much, and I'm going to give them both of the books. And then the next, I don't know. I might take a poll on what Charlie's next book should be. But one of the signed copies I put based on a true story, kind of. And I signed it. Because cats can't really do that. That's just why it's funny. Anyways, this is probably not funny. But what do you got for us, Jake?
Okay, so yeah, I got a lot. I'm going to try to go quickly because I have a fairly lengthy portion from Rob Skiba's research regarding the Yahuwah Triangle, and it directly correlates with what we're seeing in the world news today. I'm actually glad that I'm leaving my segment till the end of today's episode because of all of the topics that I think really will PO the establishment and the current psyops that are going off of the world. It is what I'm about to talk about tonight. So, for
and
one,
if goes, he's eating. I promise. If he has to go early, he can do that and eat. Because I know he likes to eat after, but we can take as long as we want, Jake.
Alrighty. So I think it's important because Opa brought up the heavenly body, the AI Atlas thing that we can't see. It's important to recognize the heavenly bodies that we can see. And I want everybody to recognize that on February 27th and February 28th, there are very specific alignments in the sky that aren't very common. And these alignments, there's a consistent pattern with the occult and the different societies and governments and people play the world script according oftentimes to what they observe in the heavens, whether you appreciate it or not, or are paying attention or not. They definitely are following something, and the script in the heavens is one of the things that they follow. There's also another term you should look up if you want to get deep down the rabbit hole. It's called the metonic cycle, and it's the cycle of the moon returning to its same location, and it's like a 19.5-year cycle. The metonic cycle is something that 19.5-year period. It's interesting. It shows up. There's a parallel between September 11th, 2001, and then 2020. And the metonic cycle kind of being that full length of time between these two big PSYOP agenda time periods. And then what we see here is the war with Iran being kicked off. When these signs in the sky happen, they interpret into them. And also coming up in a few days, there's an eclipse, a lunar eclipse that's going to be happening on the 3rd. And it's going to be happening at 3:33 a.m., depending on what time zone you're in, of course. And so all of these things are very interesting to me. I'm just going to mention them briefly because if you're an inquiring mind, you're going to see how these things are connected to the way the world script plays out. I want people to pay attention to something funny here. So I'm old enough to remember 2 weeks ago when Iran burned a statue of Baal in the Middle East of Epstein, right during the middle of the Epstein Files release. And then lo and behold, just a few weeks later, our government bombs them.
Yeah, we bunker buster bomb them again.
So if it's true that some element of some shadow government worships Baal, and then they made these big effigies and burned them, like mocking them, like, oh, we hate the Baal worshippers. It's kind of funny that, oh, lo and behold, we're bombing them this just a few weeks later. And these effigies were burned during recent protests. And when we were watching the news, the amount of Iranians protesting at this time and the amount of them that were getting slaughtered by the Iranian government was really interesting. I think you could actually postulate the numbers were up in near like the dozens and dozens of thousands of protesters. And yet this kind of got shooed away. We covered it very briefly on an episode, but this was all things that were leading up to this war with Iran that's just recently been declared. And I think it's very interesting. Now, I have a great theory tonight that this conflict with Iran and what is being established in the Middle East through these various conflicts is not something that's just kind of popped up. This is something that has been in the works and plan for actually a long time. You could even postulate since the first administration of Donald Trump. And in fact, I have a theory that some of the actions taken during the Biden administration in 2021, you all recall the terrible blunder of the withdrawal from Kabul, Afghanistan.
Yep.
Well, lo and behold, the Afghanistan army and those who kind of took over Kabul and got all that equipment, like billions and billions of dollars of American military weaponry, vehicles, they now have used that to perpetrate a grand invasion of Pakistan. But not only that, I'm kind of postulating that the amount of military weaponry and technology left behind, in fact, wasn't an accident. Because if you look at the long-term chess match game of what is happening right now with the conflict with Iran and the greater Israel concept that is trying to be, kind of monopolized on, what's interesting is that if we're following a pattern of twisted biblical eschatology trying to be prophetically interpreted and applied by administrative people then they're expecting a 200 million man army to come from China and cross the Euphrates River. And if you think about where the Euphrates is, where Afghanistan is, where Iran is, and where Greater Israel is, which we're going to cover in a segment from Rob Skiba called the Yahuwah Triangle, then you'll see there's a reason they left so much of that military gear in Afghanistan. It's because they expect the biblical prophecy of the 200 million man army to be true and to come true. And so what I'm seeing connected here is that there's likely a Chinese element that's going to start playing out in the near future, that the Chinese are going to either join the conflict with Iran or something's going to hook them in to bring that 200 million man army marching across the Euphrates River. And so with this in their eschatology and they're self-interpreting into biblical prophecy, they were like, well, we might as well leave 7 billion worth of arms there in Afghanistan to slow them down, perhaps. And this is all just my conspiratorial thinking, but let's go ahead and play the segment for this evening, which yeah, I need to see an AI battle of this for clarification. Yeah, one of those interesting War 2000 game, interpretations. But here we go, guys. This is the clip of the evening. One moment.
You can also get the Yahuwah Triangle, I believe, in our Babylon Rising bookstore as well, if you want it on like DVD, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Sorry, guys. My video, I'm just looking for my clip I saved. Having issues finding it. One moment. And I know we're live, so Jeremiah, if you want to do any shout outs about TrutherCon or anything while I find this, just
well, I did see something weird about Jim Carrey. I don't know if you guys did. You mind if I play that clip, Jake?
Oh, sure.
Have
And
you
I
heard
did
about
find my
that?
clip. So when, yeah, I actually, I've seen that. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, but you want to pull that up? It's super weird because I am a very big Jim Carrey lover. I used to love all of his work. And I'm not one of those people that's like, yo, that's not really him, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Breaking
This
news
does not
stops.
look like my Jim Carrey. It's not my Jim Carrey.
Here it is.
All right, Opa.
Oh, it's a wonderful feeling.
What is that?
Oh,
Really,
wrong one.
took
Wrong
on a
one.
No, that's the one I
big
sent you.
challenge
That's
trying
right.
to do my speech in
Okay.
French. So, I wrote it and I researched it.
He didn't
and
even
I
sound like Jim
practiced it
Carrey.
like crazy, but it's then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there, receiving their awards, and I was like, I'm dead.
Let me know what you think in the chat.
But
Is this really
and
Jim
I made
Carrey?
mistakes,
'Cause
and
I
I
don't
was
believe
like
it.
a novice, but I felt a lot of love.
It didn't even
and
sound like
I felt a lot of appreciation that I tried, and what I said was true, and I really wanted to recognize
Like his
my
nose,
family. I wanted to recognize my dad.
stretched face.
I mean, my dad was.
What was your
the
dad's
type of
name?
person that if you met him for 5
Dad's name
minutes,
was Percy.
you felt like you knew him for 50 years. I can't talk about him without getting emotional.
Does seem a bit strange.
Loved it. It's
Right?
so beautiful. And having Michelle, Camille Coton.
His dimples
was
look so
also
similar,
amazing.
but his
And,
voice,
it
his
was just a
lips
brilliant
kind of
evening,
look
you know?
off.
I mean, even if he had a facelift
gosh.
and his skin was all
Marshall
stretched
Legrand
back,
was
that
off
is
the
not
hook.
Jim
I mean,
Carrey. I
I
think
can't
what he did
believe
was,
committed to doing all that.
if
was
we
really-
believe,
someone
okay,
else.
so he played
My favorite
Andy Kaufman.
face is the
A
one
very
I'm
Andy
wearing
Kaufman
right
thing to do would be to get a double and have him go to this event, right? That's what Andy Kaufman did. That was from Vanity Fair. I mean, it's just, if I had an award show in France, I would try to find a guy that looked like me so I don't have to go there. Now they could just mail it to me, Yeah, could be.
Yeah, yeah,
He
that's
kept
an
doing
interesting
that, too.
theory.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, look at this. Maybe we should ask the expert.
Yeah, if it is flat earther. I probably should,
You know, he hasn't been seen in a long time. He's kind of like.
Well, you know what's funny? It got a second life, that video, and people are like, every time I look at my phone, every time it vibrates, it's somebody saying, "Thank you for doing this," or like just laughing emojis. It's so great.
Yeah.
I didn't know something I just recorded before bed was just gonna do that. It's awesome. Anyways.
Awesome. All right, ready, guys, for
yeah, go for it, Jake.
All right, so it's going to start off talking about the Afghanistan-Pakistan conflict, because this happened like a day or two before the attack with Iran. There's a lot of moving pieces here, but let's just see what's coming up as of late.
There has been an invasion in the Middle East happening as we speak. Y'all thought it was, you think it's Iran? No, it's not. It's not. It's totally out of nowhere, out of left field. Check it out. The Afghan government has just declared war on Pakistan and has commenced a large-scale invasion of Pakistan using U.S. military equipment left behind by Joe Biden. Hell yeah. Of course, for those of you that don't remember, and this is a team effort, because Donald started the withdrawal in 2020. He brought it down to 2,500, and then Joe Biden pulled out all the rest of the USA troops in 2021 on September 11th, funny enough. God, they got weird senses of humor, eh? Anyways, they left $7 billion worth of weapons. Whoops. I mean, we left like tanks, helicopters, tons of guns. I wonder if we did that on purpose.
Boom. Why? Why would it have been on purpose? And that's why when I look at the connection of this conflict with Iran and the interpretation of biblical prophecy that's rolling out before our eyes, guys, I have to ask the question, why do they want so much military equipment right there between, the Middle East and the East? It's because there's a 200 million man army coming and they need some gear there. And that's just my theory, but let's continue on with the conflict of Iran.
Over the past 36 hours, the United States and its partners have launched Operation Epic Fury.
Jake, that's AI.
One of the largest, most complex, most overwhelming military offensives the world has ever seen. Nobody's seen anything like it.
Everything is AI now.
We have hit hundreds of targets in Iran, including Revolutionary Guard facilities, Iranian air defense systems. Just now was announced that we knocked out 9 ships plus their naval building, all in a matter of literally minutes. Iran's formerly supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead. This wretched and vile man had the blood of hundreds and even thousands of Americans on his hands and was responsible for the slaughter of countless thousands of innocent people all across many countries. Last night, all over Iran, the voices of the Iranian people could be heard cheering and celebrating in the streets when his death was announced. The entire military command is gone as well, and many of them want to surrender into saving their lives. They want immunity. They're calling by the thousands. Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved. We have very strong objectives. They could have done something 2 weeks ago, but they just couldn't get there. Earlier today, CENTCOM shared the news that 3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, even as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen. And sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is. Likely be more, but we'll do everything possible where that won't be the case. But America will avenge their deaths and deliver the most punishing blow to the terrorists who have waged war against basically civilization. They have waged war against civilization itself. Our resolve and likewise that of Israel, has never been stronger. America is now, again, the richest, most powerful nation in the world by far. But the only reason we enjoy the quality of life that we do and the freedom and security is we have done things that others are unable to do. But it's because of warriors who are willing to lay down their lives to do battle with our enemies. And they do battle better than anybody. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be a dire threat to every American. We cannot allow a nation that raises terrorist armies to possess such weapons, would allow them to extort the world to their evil will. Not going to let it happen. We're not happening to us, and we're not going to let it happen to others. The United States has the strongest military the world has ever seen. I rebuilt our military in my first term. There's never been a military like we possess. And frankly, there's nobody even close, but we are now using that military for good. We want to have it for good purpose. We're undertaking this massive operation not merely to ensure security for our own time and place, but for our children and their children, just as our ancestors have done for us many, many years ago. This is the duty and the burden of a free people. These actions are right and they are necessary to ensure that Americans will never have to face a radical, bloodthirsty terrorist regime armed with nuclear weapons and lots of threats. For almost 50 years, these wicked extremists have been attacking the United States while chanting the slogan, "Death to America," or "Death to Israel," or both. They are the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. We are the world's greatest and most powerful nation, so we can do something about what they do. These intolerable threats will not continue any longer. I once again urge the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian military, police, to lay down your arms and receive full immunity or face certain death. It will be certain death. Won't be pretty. I call upon all Iranian patriots who yearn for freedom to seize this moment, to be brave, be bold, be heroic, and take back your country. America is with you. I made a promise to you, and I fulfilled that promise. The rest will be up to you, but we'll be there to help.
We should rerun that interview.
Okay, so just a quick pause. This is the latest kind of address that happened just a few hours ago today. Of course, the strike happened yesterday on my birthday, by the way, Jeremiah, World War III. Yeah, cool
that's why
birthday
Lynsi
present.
wrote in your birthday card, "You're the bomb, bro." It's because of your birthday. You got a bomb dropped on your birthday. Man. What up, man?
Woo-hoo. Yeah, the best fireworks ever. Well, I mean,
it's not like Israel was bombing us just a second ago, but
oh no, that was just the Independence Day over at the facility. They're celebrating how Texas is going to rise from the ashes of America if everything kicks off. All right, so here's another breakdown on some of the topography, and the reason I like showing this clip is because what we have here is Iran. And later we're going to get into the segment that Rob taught, which is the Yahuwah Triangle. And you'll see there's a reason that this conflict has to happen for the greater Israel vision to manifest. And we're going to show a clip of Tucker Carlson and Mike Huckabee's interview, which was just recently, right before this kicked off. And in the interview, he literally goes, well, if Israel gets into a war with all these surrounding nations, it wouldn't be a big deal if they just got really big all of a sudden, took over all of the Middle East. So it's all interesting, but let's just hear
on the Rosenberg report. You should run clips of it as well, because one of the questions now that the supreme leader is rotting in hell is who will lead Iran going forward. And it's too early to say that Reza Pahlavi will be the guy, right? There's a lot more that would.
Okay, so whatever, they're talking about who's going to replace Khamenei or whatever, and It's just something I wanted to point out is look what the bottom ticker is. U.S.-Israeli war on Iran. So like it's already the compatriotism and the relationship with the U.S. and Israel being the motivation and justification for the war.
Exciting times. Thank you for sharing that. The Cyrus Accords, folks, is at the doorstep. Joel, great job, my friend. We'll see you again soon. God bless. And join
I forgot
Cyrus Accords.
Forgot near
democracies right here in Washington.
We'll have to get that sometime because he has some really good, heartfelt, stuff he's got for Skiba News Nation. And Nir Shoshani is our friend over in Israel.
And
he believer in Yeshua.
He recorded the bombs coming down. He said it was for Jake's birthday too. So,
yeah, it is funny. I got a voicemail message from Nir. He's of Air News, by the way. We're giving him a shout out because we're not playing the clip, but Nir Shoshani, he sent me a voicemail message and it was like, here's your song for your birthday. And it's like the sirens going off in Israel. Anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, if you felt a little bit of an awakening in the force, so to speak, when you woke up this morning, that's absolutely because the amount of evil that has left the world since Ali Khamenei and his top advisors were taken out in his offices. That already is a major blow to the regime from a human capital perspective. Remember, capabilities, what's happening there? Well, the Americans, in coordination with the Israelis, by the way, unprecedented coordination that we are seeing in the skies, is just going round after round, sortie after sortie, at all of the external threats that we face from the regime, grinding it down. That's the air defenses, their missile capabilities, ballistic missile and cruise missiles, and their drone factories and facilities and storage facilities, and their Navy that, of course, they use to threaten the Gulf and maritime traffic. As you said the B-2 bombers apparently overnight going and striking underground facilities. This is what the Iranians have called their missile cities. A lot of storage down there, missile launchers, missiles themselves. And so over time, even though we continue to see the launches, and they clearly have mobile systems that are able to get off missiles fired at Israel, fired at our bases, fired at our allies in the Gulf, we are finding those in real time. Every single moment they fire a missile, we track the point of origin and we destroy the launcher.
Someone who is, the father of daughters.
Okay. Just a quick pause. What you saw there is ancient Babylon. That's the location of ancient Babylon there in Iran. And so what we're seeing here is moving towards what is being discussed in this interview. Whether you like Tucker or you hate him, think he's anti-Semite, you like Mike Huckabee, if you're a Zionist, whatever, listen specifically to what is said in this very short clip here and how this relates to this conflict happening right now as of yesterday.
When I see child molesters hiding in Israel and escaping American justice, I think I have a right to safety in my country too. So you can understand that I think most people feel they have a right to safety. I do think Israel has a right to safety, and I hope that for them, and I'm sincere, but I'm an American. And I have a right to safety in my country too. Of course you do. Agree? And I think so, but I just want to get to this point. If Israel were to say, God gave us in Genesis 15, all of Lebanon, all of Syria, all the way up to Iraq, would that be legitimate in your view?
I don't think in this particular day and time they're asking for it.
Would it be legitimate?
I'm not sure that it would be.
Why? Because you just said that God
because
gave it
I think that there is an understanding that the people of Israel today, now if they end up getting attacked by all these places and they win that war and they take that land, then okay, that's a whole nother discussion. But you and I started out, we started talking about something simple, Christian Zionism.
It turns out because I don't, the core of Christian Zionism, you said, and I'm quoting you, is the understanding, the belief, the theological understanding that Jews have a moral and legal, we went through the legal, moral deriving from the biblical, the promises in our Bible, which we share with the Jewish people, the first part of the Old Testament, that it derives from God's promise to the Jews. And so I have two questions. What are the borders of that? And who are those people in 2026? And you're not the first person I've asked, but you're the most reasonable, most gentle, most theologically informed person. So I'm really hoping for an answer.
Yeah. Triangle itself. What am I talking about when I'm talking?
Okay. Now,
I recognize
the
that
rest
voice.
of this. Yes, the rest of this segment is Rob's Yahuwah Triangle breakdown. But guys, I want you to hyper focus on this phrase. I'm just going to rewind a bit. This phrase that Mike Huckabee makes, and then ask your question, why this war with Iran How is it the U.S.-Israeli conflict? Why could it be that this plan has been actually in motion for a long time to expand greater Israel to the borders of the Yahuwah Triangle that we're about to see Rob talk about? But just briefly, one more time, listen to what he says. It's probably the main thing of this whole interview. Not only Tucker questioning the identity crisis, which, by the way, modern Zionism is ignorant to the fact of the Ephraim awakening, of what it means to be the people of the book, to be B'nai Yisrael, the B'nai Ephraim, the ones coming back to the Torah, and those who can make Aliyah, that question, and who supports the nation state, that's the secular nation state, versus who supports Jewish people. It's all a big issue. So one more time.
I think I have a right to safety in my country too. So you can understand that I think most people feel they have a right to safety. I do think Israel has a right to safety, and I hope that for them. And I'm sincere, but I'm an American, and I have a right to safety in my country too. Of course you do. Agree? And I think so, but I just want to get to this point. If Israel were to say, God gave us in Genesis 15, all of Lebanon, all of Syria, all the way up to Iraq, would that be legitimate in your view?
I don't think in this particular day and time they're asking for it.
Would it be legitimate?
I'm not sure that it would be.
Why? Because you just said that
God
gave
because I think
them.
that there is an understanding that the people of Israel today, now if they end up getting attacked by all these places and they win that war and they take that land, then okay, that's a whole nother discussion. But you and I started out, we started talking about something simple, Christian Zionism.
It turns out because the core of Christian Zionism, you said, and I'm quoting you, is the understanding, the belief, the theological understanding that Jews have a moral and legal, we went through the legal, moral deriving from the biblical, the promises in our Bible, which we share with the Jewish people, the first part of the Old Testament, that it derives from God's promise to the Jews. And so I have two questions. What are the borders of that? And who are those people in 2026? And you're not the first person I've asked, but you're the most reasonable, most gentle, most theologically informed person. So I'm really hoping for an answer.
Triangle itself. What am I talking about when I'm talking about?
Okay, so now we're going into Rob's segment, the Yahuwah Triangle. Go watch the full video. A lot of people have heard Rob's research on Nephilim. A lot of people have seen his flat Earth stuff, his, the Nimrod, Antichrist topic. My personal opinion is that some of the things he touches on in these teachings regarding the Ephraim awakening, regarding Zionism and all this stuff, is some of his most important research, is some of the most important things that he shared with people while he was alive. That's all I got to say. Now let's listen in to Rob Skiba.
The Yahuwah Triangle, the source material that I really kind of started out with is in Isaiah chapter 19. In that day shall there be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border thereof to the Lord. And it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto the Lord of hosts in the land of Egypt. For they shall cry unto the Lord because of the oppressors, and he shall send them a savior, and a great one, and he shall deliver them. And the Lord shall be known to Egypt, and the Egyptians shall know the Lord in that day, and shall do sacrifice and oblation. Yea, they shall vow a vow unto the Lord and perform it. And the Lord shall smite Egypt, he shall smite and heal it, and they shall return even to the Lord. And he shall be entreated of them, and shall heal them. In that day shall there be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria, and the Assyrian shall come into Egypt, and the Egyptian into Assyria, and the Egyptians shall serve with the Assyrians. In that day shall Israel be the third with Egypt and with Assyria, even a blessing in the land, in the midst of the land, whom the Lord of hosts shall bless, saying, Blessed be Egypt my people, and Assyria the work of my hands, and Israel mine inheritance. That's Isaiah 19:19 through 25. Well, you see right there the 3 points in what I refer to as the Yahuwah Triangle, right here. And I've got Giza, Jerusalem, and Babylon, although, as you'll see as we get further into this this weekend, that there might be a better location for the point in the land of Israel besides Jerusalem. But regardless, we've got Israel, Egypt, actually Egypt first, Israel second, and Babylon or Assyria third. I think just kind of looking at this, and I don't believe in the whole concept of Mother Earth, but you hear people talk about Mother Earth all the time. And if this is the center of the Earth, then this sort of kind of looks like the female anatomy right there, with Giza being at the birth canal, right below area of water, right? So, again, if we were to think of Earth as mother, like so many cultures do, then this location being at her center has the appearance of the pubic area, with the Giza Plateau being located at the birth canal. Interestingly enough, while I have never read anything or heard anyone else's, I've never heard anybody suggesting that Giza was a place of Adam's creation. I did, however, find that the ancients believed this to be the spot where creation started. In that presentation, of course, we covered our thesis. Scripture is Isaiah 19:19 through 25. Talking about, in that day shall Israel be the third with Egypt and with Assyria, even a blessing in the midst of the land, whom the Lord of hosts shall bless, saying, blessed be Egypt, my people, and Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel, mine inheritance. Those three form the 3 points in what I refer to as the Yahuwah triangle. And we talked about why are this whole series is really going to address the issue is why are Egypt, Assyria, and Israel so important to Yahuwah? And that's what I hope to reveal in this series of talks. The monument of Isaiah 19, we discussed that the altar and the pillar or monument very likely could be the Pyramid of Giza. Now, I'm just going to say right up front, I admit that huge portions of part 1 are highly speculative. I'm just looking at the evidence and I'm speculating, and I acknowledge that it is speculation. However, the further we get into this series, the less I believe it's speculation. There'll be a little bit of speculation still in this presentation, but I'm going to hopefully build a really strong case from the scriptures to justify that speculation. And then by the time you get to the third one, I don't really think there's much speculation there at all. I think it's pretty solid from the scriptures. So just to be fair, this first one is speculative. I speculated that along with a lot of other researchers who believe that the Great Pyramid of Giza is the altar and pillar in the center and border of Egypt. But I took it a step further and suggested that it might be the location where Adam was pulled from the dust of the earth. And then we kind of concluded by talking about the New Jerusalem, and that it very likely could be in the shape of a pyramid, and how the Great Pyramid seems to illustrate that quite well for us. So now we're going to go ahead and move into part 2, finding the Garden of Eden. And like I said earlier, this is it's an adventure. We're going to go on a little adventure, looking through the scriptures. And actually, what's interesting is if you put my circle back up here, the land of Eden that I have, that kind of goes all the way out to Babylon. Now, if that is the circle of Eden, then the Mediterranean Sea actually forms a kind of a pie shape taken out of it, approximately a third of it. And I just wonder and it says the Gihon was the source that caused the overflow of the pre-flood flood. And perhaps that is where the legends of the lost civilizations of Atlantis and Lemuria and some of these other ones may go back to the pre-flood flood. Again, speculation. But I think that the Gihon may have connected with the Nile, and the Nile kind of goes down to right about here, I think, and stops currently. But if you go zoom in on Google Earth, you could see how it could have followed, if it was a bigger, faster moving river, that it could have followed topography going right through here. And in fact, looping around the Horn of Africa right here and coming back, this is part of the rift right here, the Mid-Atlantic Rift. I mean, not the Red Sea Rift and the African Rift connect right here and go down. So this would literally mean that the land of Ethiopia was encompassed or surrounded by the Gihon, if that's the case. Somehow encompassing Ethiopia has to connect with the Gihon spring up here. So this is what I propose was the connection right here. Take it or leave it. And we already discussed the Pison right here, and I believe the Pison probably came up, and if the source kind of went up through this finger of the Red Sea, maybe the Pison went up through this source and connected over here, because it says the source split into 4 heads. So somewhere you got to have 4 connections to the source. So I propose that this is how it may have happened. It had essentially been made king of the world in 1948 AM, years since creation. So think about that, folks. A lot of people, because Abraham was born in 1948. And that's the same year Abraham was born. So people want to say, well, 1948 is when Abraham was born, and 1948 is when the nation of Israel was born too. See? And yet there's nothing, I'm just going to say it flat out, there's nothing about the current state of Israel that fits Isaiah 66:8. Everybody wants to say, can a nation be born in a day? Quoting Isaiah 66:8. Yeah, May 14th, 1948. Well, unfortunately, chapter 66 is in the context of chapter 65, which is in a millennial reign context. And if you read 4 verses later, Isaiah 66:12, it says that peace will flow like a river. We're talking about rivers. Peace will flow like a river from that Israel. Well, we've had anything but peace since 1948. So how in the world anybody can think that 1948 fits Isaiah 66:8 is beyond me. And people also will say, well, it's the bones coming together in Ezekiel 37. It's okay, let's go there. If you go through Ezekiel 37 line by line, taking it literally, you're going to see, well, that didn't happen. Well, that didn't happen. Well, that didn't happen. Well, that didn't happen. Well, shoot, why are we all saying that it did? And then when you read Jeremiah 23, Jeremiah 30, Jeremiah 31, Hosea 2, and you go through all the scriptures to talk about the ingathering that Yahuwah says he is going to do himself, not the Rothschilds, not the Zionists, not the Luciferians and the Illuminati and the Freemasons. So everybody wants to start their time clock. This generation is not going to pass away until all these things are fulfilled. And so everybody started their end times clock at 1948, and they used to think it was 40 years. And so 1988, everybody was out there, including me, saying 88 reasons why Jesus is going to return in 1988, because it's 40 years from 1948. And there, you can probably go back and look and Google it and whatever. There are a lot of people who wrote books and were out talking about it and everything. And I was one of them. It was a year after I graduated from high school, going around telling everybody, hey, this is it. You know, this is the year. Get your rapture shoes all laced up. Start jumping because we're going up. And of course, 88 came and went. Nothing happened. And then they said, well, maybe it's not 40 years. Maybe it's, Psalm 90 verse 10, 70 years, right? So now everybody's waiting for the 70. And then when that doesn't happen, they're going to say, well, maybe it's 80. I'm just going to suggest right here and tell you that we shouldn't be starting our time clock in 1948. It is a fulfillment of prophecy. Unfortunately, it's not the one I think everybody's looking for, though. It's if you read Zephaniah 2, it says, gather yourselves together, O nation undesired, and that particular nation is destined for destruction. Zechariah 13, 2/3 of that place is getting wiped out. 1/3 going through the fire. And Jesus said, hey, if you're there in the last days, get out. So how in the world does that fit what everybody's been looking for? It doesn't. It doesn't fit. Well, there's two ingatherings. And I credit Arnold Fruchtenbaum for changing my thoughts on this. He points out the Zephaniah and the passages where clearly there is a gathering in unbelief that takes place. And that's the gathering in unbelief that is destined for destruction. And then there's a gathering in belief that is done by Messiah himself. And they're actually Orthodox Jewish rabbis who are like, we don't recognize the Star of Remphan on our flag. We don't recognize the establishment in 1948 because Messiah didn't do it. These guys don't have a Christian or a preacher rapture or anything like that dog in the hunt. They're just out there saying, look, it doesn't fit. And I agree. In fact, there's a book called Walk in the Light, The Redeemed by Todd Bennett. And Sheila and I were in South Africa doing a conference there. And it was kind of interesting because we were invited to go there. We went there, and this guy comes up to me and he says, when we heard that some American was coming here to talk about prophecy, we said, if he doesn't understand the Torah, he doesn't have a clue about what's going to happen in the last days. And so they asked if I did, and the guy's like, well, I don't really know. And so anyway, this guy that was talking to me, he said, I Googled you and saw my virtual house church and stuff that I had up, and all the things that I've been talking about. And he said, the only reason we came is because we discovered that you do understand the Torah. And we found a whole bunch of people there that were walking in the Torah. And so that was a sweet and amazing, incredible trip. And this guy gave Sheila and I a whole collection of these books by Todd Bennett. And in his book, The Redeemed, I'm just going to read a little passage here regarding the modern state of Israel, chapter 15, page 183. He says, in 1947, the United Nations General Assembly approved a plan to terminate the British mandate, which would facilitate the creation of a, quote, Jewish state, end quote, by 1948 in what was formerly called Palestine. The nation of Israel thereafter declared independence on May 14th, 1948, the day that the British mandate expired and a nation was seemingly born at once. Isaiah 66:8, right? As a result, some give the date 1948 great weight when considering prophecy and the end times. In fact, many use this date to project future prophetic fulfillment. This typically leads to problems because 1948 is simply a date on a pagan calendar, and it is not necessarily a significant date on the scriptural calendar. Todd Bennett says, I do not believe that it is within the authority of the United Nations or any other organization for that matter to declare whether or not the Yahudim can form a sovereign nation. Yahuwah promised the land to the seed of Abraham and Sarah. He has punished the various tribes of Israel, and only he can determine when their punishment is complete and when restoration can occur. The United Nations has no legal significance in the eyes of Yahuwah, and that ungodly organization has no authority to establish any part of Yahuwah's kingdom. Therefore, I do not automatically assume that the date 1948 is as significant as some believe. He goes on to say, again, I do not believe that it is up to the United Nations to rubber stamp the existence of Israel. Interestingly, some Orthodox Jewish groups have declared that the nation is a violation of the Torah because the Messiah was not the one to establish this state. And I give a big, huge, massive amen to that. I agree with him 100%. And you know what? This may tick you off, saying what I just said. I understand it. It ticked me off too. It's one of those paradigm shifting things. And just look it up for yourself, guys. We've been taught a bunch of lies about a whole bunch of stuff. And one of them is 1948. That it's the fulfillment. You got to understand the Rothschilds set themselves up to be the establishers, i.e. Messiah of the kingdom. Now, does God watch over his individual people? Sure, absolutely. He loves his people, the Jewish people and the people of Israel. And you hear all the stories of combat and miracles and whatnot, and if they are to be believed, and I just say that because a lot of stuff that we hear from the media is not true. It is fabricated lies. But assuming those stories are true, all that says to me is he's watching over his individual people. But as far as the nation goes, Scripture is quite clear that the current state is headed for destruction, and that the current state is headed for destruction. And it's not going to be until after the tribulation period that the Messiah is going to bring in the whole of Israel, gathered from the four winds, all of us who have been adopted and grafted the fullness of the Gentiles into the commonwealth of Israel, the cultivated olive tree. He will bring us all in together. And that's when you're going to see, in the millennial reign context, the fulfillment of Isaiah 66:8. But when I looked at the map and realized that Nimrod was made king in 1948, well, all of a sudden it makes perfect sense, because that's who the Luciferians worship. And then you're going to hear me talk a lot more about that in the Babylon Rising lecture and in the updated version of the mythology and the coming great deception. They are all about that guy. They love that guy. The Rothschilds, the Freemasons, the Illuminati, the Zionists, they love Nimrod. He is their king. And the proof is that, these are the guys that put the Star of Remphan on that flag. They're the ones that put or authorize the statue of Nimrod to be set up in front of the Hebrew University. They're the ones that financed and paid for the Supreme Court, the Israeli Supreme Court, that has a pyramid on top and all-seeing eye, windows and all kinds of obelisks and other Freemason stuff all over the place. They are telegraphing who their king is, and it's not our God. It's not the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's not Yahuwah, and it's certainly not Yeshua. It's Nimrod. So the big correlation that I see in 1948 AD is the correlation of the kingship of Nimrod in 1948 AM. But God had a plan. If we use sort of L.A. Marzulli's idea of a cosmic chess match where God makes a move, the devil makes a move, the devil makes a move, God makes a move, playing this chess match. Well, when the devil put his piece into play, Nimrod, ruling the world, God said, I got an idea. I'm going to have this little guy named Abram born. Same year. In fact, it was Nimrod's evil kingship. It was part of the reason why Yahuwah called Abram out of Ur of the Chaldees, just south of Babylon in the first place. Now we read in Genesis chapter 11, and Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran, his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan, and they came to Haran and dwelt there. Well, their intention apparently was to go to Canaan, but they didn't go there. They went to Haran. Well, there's something very telling about that. Ur of Chaldees, okay, the patron god of Ur was a god named Sin. Sin was the god of the moon in the Mesopotamian mythology of Akkad, Assyria, and Babylonia. Nana is a Sumerian deity, the son of Enlil and Ninlil, and became identified with the Semitic Sin. The two chief seats of Nana's Sin worship were Ur in the south of Mesopotamia and Haran in the north.
Okay, so guys, some of the most important research that Rob shared, all kind of encapsulated, challenging the big test that's literally playing out before our eyes. It's the pro-Israel America Zionist state. It's the anti-Semitic Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens trap. And what the truth is it's neither. And people got to recognize that there is right now another big dividing test happening, just like in 2020, pro V, no V, 2016, Hillary versus Trump, BLM versus All Lives Matter. It's always this divide thing, and they're trying to, harness your energy so that the war bells can start churning. I actually was very, very interested in how there was a lot of biblical films and TV shows being released in the past couple of years. The House of David, the Chosen series, you have these things that were being released, and they were actually really well made. The House of David, really well made. And what it was is, I believe, not only is it finally some interesting, good Christian media being made. By the way, I liked the House of David. And also, by the way, I'm going to be dropping, you're going to hear it here the first time, I'm going to be dropping a review of the House of David episode 1 on the Skiba News Nation Patreon this coming Patreon week. So if you guys want to see that, me and my buddy Mitch, that we did a little talk about it. So you guys will, it's only going to be on there. It's a throwaway thing that I wasn't going to ever post, but I'm going to put it on there for any of Patreons who help support what we're doing with the alt news stuff. But it's going to just take me just another 2 minutes to get through these last few things. Very important things. Are you guys able to see my screen here, Jeremiah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, by the way, one of those betting apps, somebody made a huge bet that the White House is about to confirm alien life or technology by the end of this year. Like, they're dropping hundreds of $1,000 bets. That's interesting. Now, check out this. This is fascinating in relation to, oh yeah, by the way, I have a Book of Enoch audio drama. Quick plug, but anyways, just kidding. Congresswoman dropped, her name, Anna Paulina Luna, mentioned on a podcast and said the Book of Enoch, which, by the way, Rob talks about a lot. I've covered it a lot because of my audio drama, that the Book of Enoch removed to control religious narratives regarding giants, demons, fallen angels, and this is an elected official with security clearance. And it's a reason that she's pointing out it was excluded from the biblical canon. Very significant. This was a post from Joseph Riverwind, pointing out the escalation of ethnos rising against ethnos. Check this out. This is an assault on the U.S. consulate in Pakistan, where a mob of over 500 Muslim men attacked. And by the way, the U.S. Marines responded with lethal force, shooting and killing 10 of these attackers. But U.S. consulate in Pakistan.
No, thank you.
Now, this, like Chief Joseph Riverwind said, this is the prophecy of the ethnos versus ethnos materializing worldwide. The scenarios are intensifying, and it seems that things are not decelerating. He goes, are you and your family praying for the best while preparing for the worst? And, oh, by the way, I had a whole bunch of clips of the Iranian retaliation and attacks, one landing near the Burj Khalifa, several others that all of a sudden get pulled from online. So I'm not able to show you guys some of that stuff. I'm sure it's part of the military operation. The U.S. government is trying to keep any kind of propaganda. But I do want to point towards a video somebody emailed me, and this is the last thing I'm going to end with. It's on Rumble. It's one that I think is fascinating. So go check out on Rumble, 666 Prophecy, Trump's Iran War Exposed.
Wait, can we promote 666? I don't know if that's okay.
But I think I'm just going to play the first 1 minute of it, and this is what this documentary says.
Every nation in every region now has a decision to make. Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
Chapter 9. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment is as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. They had breastplates as it were breastplates of iron. And the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. They had
Okay, guys, so I'll leave it at that. I know we don't have time to watch a whole documentary or anything. I'm not suggesting we do. I just want everybody to go check it out. If you have time, I think you'll find it kind of interesting. But anyways, Jeremiah, that's all my conspiracy culmination there and some of the things that Rob spoke about that are very concurrently important. It's just so amazing that we got to know Rob and got to learn from him because he was so ahead of his time. And I'm going to try to play more of his clips, guys, as more people discover his work through him being mentioned on Candace and And I know over the years, you know, we get to play a segment of his here or there, but now it seems more than ever, it's all relating to what we're seeing in the news. And one advice I would say is, guys, you know, support what you love, support alt media like us, because we're really some of the only ones that are not going to just buy into this, you know, directive narrative, and also have a love for the truth. That's what 2 Thessalonians say. If you don't have a love for the truth, you'll buy the lie. And yeah. But anyways, let's go ahead.
I'm not my dad, Rob Skiba. I'm sorry for anybody who may think so. I do have music. I just wanted to address that because some people get offended, but I just wanted to say that here. And you know, I love the trolls. Anyways, Opa, you got my please excuse my sense of humor?
Absolutely.
Well, let's do it. It's time to laugh.
Okay, here we go.
Some people might find some of these jokes offensive. If you are one of those people, I'm sorry that you cannot take a joke. Viewer discretion is advised.
My wife said this is me, and she is so right. She's always right.
Breathe, dude. Yeah, I can do it.
Do it.
So you sing it like Nanzingonya Bagiti Baba Ingonya Ma. Say it again.
What does it mean?
Listen to this. It's crazy.
Look, there's a lion. Oh my God.
Those are the lyrics.
Joking. That is not what that means. That is not what that means.
That's exactly what it means.
That's what it means. Look, there's a lion.
Oh my God.
Look, there's a lion. Oh my God.
You will be, I promise.
It's a lion.
Can't believe you committed suicide. I cannot believe you committed suicide. How could you have done this? How could you have committed suicide?
Do it. I was wondering what Kitty's dreaming about. Jake, I thought you'd love this one.
It was getting too cramped in there.
Kann man sagen, dass Hitler der Mann ihres Lebens war?
Ja, 100%. 100%.
Best DJ in Israel. Yeah, party.
Make a fist for me. Make a fist. Good, relax. When I met Zion, I said, why do you want hands? Zion, why do you want hands? He's a very, very intelligent young man. He said, I want to swing on the monkey bars.
So Jake likes to take these away from me.
Pretty little baby, pretty little baby.
Now, what documentary? These are all in the
Baby, you can love me. Try to love.
POV when a baby boomer tells me I have to support Israel because Jesus also here.
Set the record straight. Yes, we had ties in the Oklahoma City bombings. Yes, we had our fingers dipped in 9/11. And yes, we murked that nigga Charlie Kirk. But folks, we cannot lose sight on what really matters here, and that is Iran is only days away from producing a nuclear weapon that will ruin this world.
Man,
everybody cut fart loose! Fart loose! Let out your asshole juice!
I thought you would like that, Jake. So I wanted to end off with a funny one with some fart humor. So.
I think he left one out, Jeremiah.
Which one?
Well, this one right here.
Bum, 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 bum,
oh, yeah.
Bum, 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 Iran.
Got me rocking and a rolling.
Oh, you left me hanging there.
By my red.
Well, what is that kind of voice called? The
Falsetto.
Yeah, I could do a falsetto and a bass. Most bass singers can also sing falsetto. Brian Wilson was the best. It was bass. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all I got. I was trying to find some funny ones, and Jake likes to take out the certain kind with the foreskins. And I mean the Four Seasons. So I decided that I couldn't find the other one, but I tried to put one in here because, you know, it's always good to remember. Right? Anyways, I hope you guys had a good time with my Please Excuse My Sense of Humor and all of our stories. And we love you guys. And now my camera's following me, but we love you guys, and we'll see you Thursday for the Discord. Adios, amigos. Any final words?
Adios. Yeah. Check out Friday. We're going to have a special with Nephilim Death Squad. It's one of our best, funniest, fun ones ever. So shout out Nephilim Death Squad. If you guys are watching, drop a comment. Hey.
There'll be profanity, but
happy trails to you.
There we go.
Until we meet again.
All righty, guys. Later.
Thank you.